केनाक्षरसमाम्नायमधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः। येन धौता गिरः पुंसां विमलैः शब्दवारिभिः तमश्च ज्ञानजं भिन्नं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः। अज्ञानान्धस्य लोकस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै पाणिनये नमः। वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयम्। Okay, in the previous class, we completed these four sutras about Padam. Suptingantam Padam Nakke Siticha Swadisha Survanamasthane. Oh, we completed everything. Okay, we completed these four sutras. And now, in this class, we shall take the remaining three sutras. Echibam Tasau Matvarte Ayasmayadini Chandasi. The first two sutras, they give the Bhasangna. Bham is the Pratama Ekavachana form of the Pratipadikam Bha. The sutra, the first sutra is Yachi Bham. Yachi is in Saptami, Bham Pratama Ekavachana. It means in presence of a Yakaradi or Ajadi Pratyaya, the Anga is called as Bham. The whole previous sutra, Swadisha Sarvanamasthani, comes as Anurutti. So Swadishu Asarvanamasthane Angam Padam. Into Yachi Bham. So whenever there is Swadi Pratyaya, which is not a Sarvanamasthana, then Anga is called as Padam. But if that Swadi Pratyaya starts with Yakara or Ach letter, Swara, any Swara, then that Anga is not called as Pada, it is called as Bha, is the meaning of this sutra. So Swadishu Asarvanamasthane Yachi Bham. It is a Apavada Sutra to Swadish Asarvanamasthane. So consider here Swadishu. This Nye is a Swadi Pratyaya because it is a Supratyaya. Similarly, top and Yet is a Tadita Pratyaya. It is a three Pratyaya. So these are Swadi Pratyaya. Asarvanamasthane. These are not Sarvanamasthana. This A is Chaturthi Ekavachana. So it is not Sarvanamasthana. Only the first Sut Pratyaya for Pullinga Napumsakalinga and Jas and Shas for Napumsakalinga. They are Sarvanamasthana. So these are not Sarvanamasthana anyway. And Yachi. Yachi means it is the Dvandva Samasanta word of Yakara and Ach. So if the pratyaya starts with yakara or ach, any ach letter, any swara, then the anga, these Rama, Aja, Go, these are called as Bha, is the meaning of this sutra. So whenever there is Asarvanamasthana Swadi Pratyaya, the anga is called as Padam, but if the Swadi Pratyaya, which is not Sarvanamasthana, is starts with yakara or any H letter, then by blocking Padasangna, the Anga gets Bhasangna. That's about this sutra. Yachi Bham. Swadisho Asarvanamasthane Yachi Bham. Next, Tasau Matvarte. Tasau Matvarte. Tasau means Takaranta athava Sakaranta. The Anga which ends with Takara or which ends with Sakara. They are also called as Bha Matvarte. In Matvarta. What is meant by Matvarta? This Matu Pratyaya. This Matu Pratyaya is added to the Pratipadikas and some Pratyas come as Apavada to this Matu Pratyaya. So all the pratyayas, the matup and its apvadas togetherly they called as matvartiya pratyaya. So whenever that matvartiya pratyayas are added to takaranta or sakaranta words, then that sakaranta or takaranta anga will get basangna by blocking padasangna, because this matup is a tadita pratyaya. By swadishu asarvanamastane, the anga should become padam, because this pratyaya starts with makara. So by yachibam it cannot be a bha, because for this to be ba by yachibam, this the starting letter should be ach letter or it should be yakara, but it is here makara. So by the previous sutra yachibam it cannot be bha. So this sutra we want bhasangna for these words. So we have this sutra tasau matvarte. By this sutra, the takaranta and sakaranta anga, whenever they are followed by matvartiya pratyayaha, then the anga is called as bha. This is the section in Tadita Prakarana where we see this matup and its apvada. Starting from tadasyastyasminniti matup rasadibhyascha pranistha dhato lajjanyatarasyam up to the last sutra, that pada, second pada of fifth chapter. Starting from 94th sutra up to the last sutra of that pada, the whole section deals with this matu pratyaya and its apvadas. This section is called as matvartiya prakarana. Matvartiya, that matvartiya word comes because of this matu pratyaya. Matup pratyaya yasya arthe upayujyate tad artham matvartam iti. So tadasya asti asmin, tad asya asti athava tad asmin asti iti matup. For example, this is a tadita pratyaya. तदस्यास्ति अस्मिन् इति मतुप्पु. तद् अस्यास्ति अथवा तद् अस्मिन् अस्ति. अस्मिन् अर्थे अनयोः अर्थयोः प्रातिपदिकात् मतुप्रत्ययः विधीयते. शक्ति, अस्या शक्तिः अस्ति इति शक्ति प्लस मतुप्रत्यय is added in that meaning. So shaktimat, asya shaktihi asti iti shaktimat, athava asmin shaktihi asti iti api shaktimat. He has shakti, or shakti is there within him in that sense, whether in shashti or saptami. If in that meaning, that matu pratyaya is added, and all the other pratyas which are applied as apvada to this matu, they are also used in that sense only, in that meaning only. Tad asya asti athava tad asmin asti etayoho artayoho etani sarvani sutrani upayujyante. These are the other sutras are apvada to the mat pratyaya. So one, for example, by pranistha dhato lajanyatarasyam, by this sutra, after the parts or the angas which are present in the prani and which end with dirgha akara, this laj pratyaya is added. Chuda अस्मिन् अस्ति अथवा चूड़ा अस्य अस्ति अस्मिन् अर्थे lach pratyaya is added to the pratipadikam chuda. So we get chudala. Similarly, tapas sahasrabhyam vinini. After the word tapas or sahasra, we add vini to tapas and ini to sahasra. By yata sankhya manudesha samanam. Here we have two pratipadika and we have two pratyayas. So the first pratyaya is added to the first pratipadika and the second to second. So Vini is added to tapas and ini is added to sahasra. So tapas plus Vini. Then ata ini tanau. By this sutra, for rasva akaranta pratipadikas, we add in or tak pratyaya in tad asya asti or asmin asti iti artayoho. In that meanings, we add in or tak pratyaya to the pratipadikas which end with rasva akara. Here danda is a rasva akaranta word. So danda plus in, dandin. अथवा danda plus tak, dandika. You need not worry about how that forms are generated. So tadasya asti or asmin asti. In these meanings, we add all these pratyayas. Aham, shubhamor, yussu. Again, after the aham or shubham, we add this pratyaya yus. So all these pratyayas, matup, lach, vini, vini, ini, tan, yus, all these are called as matvartiya pratyayaha. So whenever we are having matvartiya pratyaya here, and if the anga ends with takara or sakara, then by this sutra tasau matvarte, anga gets padasangna. Here we have this sutra and cha in this same section. There also tapas sahasrabhyam vinini ancha. Ancha by this sutra, the tapas and sahasra both get anpratyaya also. In this sense, in those meanings, tasya asti tadasmin asti. So whenever tapas is followed by an, that tapas is a sakaranta, an is a matvartiya pratyaya. So by tasav matvartya, it should become bha. But the previous sutra, yachibam, by that sutra, this is akaradi pratyaya and is a swadi pratyaya, which is not sarvanamasthana. So by yachibam also it can become bha. But to be precise, by this sutra only, because the very presence of sakara and takara in this sutra tasav matvarte means that whenever there is sakara and takara at the end of the anga and they are followed by matvartiya pratyaya, then the anga gets bhasangna. So here an gets bhasangna, tapas plus tapas plus an, there the anga tapas gets bhasangna by this sutra tasau matvarte. So marth, garth plus matu, here tapas plus vini. In these cases, by tasau matvarte, in tapas plus and also this sutra only tasau matvarte. And the next sutra is ayasmayadini chandasi. Ayasmayadini chandasi. By this sutra, it means the words like ayasmaya and others in chandasi. Chandasi means in the context of Vedas, they are considered as valid words. Valid words. What does it mean? Because in the derivation of these words, the previous sutras, the 4 sutras which define pada and the 2 sutras which define bha, this total 6 sutras. By those 6 sutras, either the anga should become pada or bha. Sometimes we see that in the derivation of the some words, wherever the anga is supposed to be pada, it is considered as bha. Wherever it is supposed to be bha, it is considered as pada. So, but in classical, in what we call Laukika Samskrita, that is not accepted. But we do see the forms where such assumption is made in during the derivation of the words like ayasmaya and others in chandas. So by this sutra, it means wherever you find the words like ayasmaya and adini, where basangna is treated as padasangna or padasangna is treated as basangna, they have to be considered as valid. We should not treat them as invalid words, is the meaning of this sutra. Here, a Vartika is given to justify the same thing what I told. Ubaya sangnani api iti vaktavyam. It means the both sangna to be used appropriately as required. So if you take some examples, it will be more clear. The examples are ayasmaya, rukvata, vajineshu, etc. And we shall take those examples also now. These are the sutras that we studied. The first four sutras, they define padam, suptigantam padam, nakye, titicha, swadishu asarvanamastane. And the next two sutras, they define bhasangna, yachibam, tasau matvarte, ayasmayadini chandasi. By that sutra, we have to accept the forms, the words like ayasmaya and others as valid in the context of Vedas. So by suptingantam padam, subanta or tinganta, they are called as pada. So Rama plus Shas, Raman. Here Raman is a pada because it ends with Shas pratyaya, which is a sup pratyaya. Similarly, Asti. This Asti is a padam because it ends with Tippo, which is a ting pratyaya. So it is a tingantam. So it is a padam by this sutra. And by Nakye, we studied the Nakaranta Pratipadika or Nakaranta words which are followed by this kya adi. The pratyaya which starts with kya, then these are also called as Pratipadika. Then Siticha, by this sutra, the pratyaya which is sit, in which sakara is sit. In presence of a sit pratyaya, the anga is called as padam. So here, urna plus yusu, this pratyaya starts with the yakara. So by yachibam, it should become bha, because it starts with yakara and it is a swadi pratyaya, it is not a sarvanamasthana. So but we want this anga to be pada, not bha. So we have this sutra. Whenever we want to block yachibam and we want to give padasangna to the sangha, we just add sakaraya sitto. So all the pratyayas in which sakara is sitto, all of them starts with either yakara or they start with ach letter. So all of them can become bha by the sutra yachibam. So since we want that as a pada, we have added sakara. So that by the siticha, by blocking yachibam, it becomes pada. So siticha is a apavada sutra to yachibam. Next, bhavat plus chess. Here again, this chess is a sit pratyaya. Here by ayani yaha padaka chaganam chagam pratyadinam, by that sutra, this cha will replace by iya. The cha, the mahaprana cha, which is present in the beginning of a pratyaya, will be replaced by iya. So by yachibam, since it is starting with dirgha e, which is a ach letter, the bhavat should become bha, but we want that as a padam. So that sakara is added in the pratyaya as a it letter. So it is chess. So now by siticha, this bhavat is considered as padam. Go plus mayat. Here, mayat is a tadita pratyaya and it does not start with yakara racha. So by swadishu asarvanamastane, go is a padam. The same go whenever it is followed by yakaradi pratyaya or any ajadi pratyaya, then the same go is called as bha. By the sutra yachibam. Go is called as a padam whenever it is followed by a swadi asarvanamasthana pratyaya. Kintu yachi yakaradi or ajadi pratyaye pare go ityasya eva bhasanna api bhavati. Tasau matvarte. The pratipadika is ending with sakara or takara, and it is followed by a matvartiya pratyaya. Then by blocking padasangna it becomes bhasangna, because by swadisho asarvanamasthane it should become padam, but it is an apada sutra to that sutra swadisho asarvanamasthane. Here you consider tapas plus bhyam. Here this bhyam is a swadi pratyaya asarvanamasthana, and it does not start with yakara or ach letter, so it is padam by swadishu asarvanamasthane. By tasau matvarte, sakaradi and sakaranta and takaranta anga, which is followed by matvartiya pratyaya, it is called as bha. But here bhyam is not a matvartiya pratyaya. This is a supratyaya. This is not a matvartiya pratyaya. So here tapas is a pada, not bha. But the same tapas, when it is followed by a matvartiya pratyaya like vini, an, then it is called as bha. So depending on the pratyaya, we are deciding whether the pratipadika is a pada or a bha. It is not tapas is a pada or it is a bha. It is depending on the kind of pratyaya that is present after the anga. And ayasmayadini chandasi. The words like ayasmaya and others are considered as valid in the context of chandas. So consider the derivation of this word ayasmaya. We have mayat pratyaya, which is ordered in the meaning of tasya vikaraha. Tasya vikaraha means the change that happens out of that. Suppose some plant is there, we made something out of that plant, then that is called as vikara of that plant. In that sense, is means iron. So if we made something out of that iron, if we made some instrument or something, we call that as ayasaha vikaraha. In that sense, we add mayat pratyaya. So ayas plus mayat, takara is itto. So ayas plus maya. Here by the sutra swadisho asarvanamasthane, this ayas should become pada, because this maya is not in matvartiya pratyaya. This is not in matvartiya prakarana. This is not a matvartiya pratyaya. So even though it is sakaranta, it should become padam, since it is not a matvartiya pratyaya. So once we consider it as pada, padante upastitasya sakarasya rutvaha bhavet. The sakara which is present at the end of a pada should become ru, and that ru, whenever it is followed by an ash letter like makara, it should become u by ashicha, the sutra 61114 ashicha. Then this a plus o should combine to form o. So ayomaya, the final the final word should become ayomaya. But what we see in the chandas is ayasmaya instead of ayomaya. So here this is considered as bha, not as pada. So none of the sutras, none of these six sutras allow this word to be bha. By this sutra swadisho asarvanamasthane should become padam, but it is not considered as padam here. So by this sutra, by ayasmayadini chandasi, we have to consider this as a valid word, even though the previous rules were not applied in the derivation of this word. So Swadishu Asarvanamastane is not applicable, is not applied. It is not applicable. It is not like it is not applicable. It's applicable only, but it is not applied. So ayas plus maya, ayas maya. But in the language, in the Laukika Samskrita, the valid word is ayomaya. If we use ayasmaya, it is wrong. It is ashuddha form. We have to use as ayomaya only in that sense. But we see, whenever we see this word ayasmaya in the chandas, we have to consider that as a sadhu shabda. Similarly, ruch plus matup. Ruch plus matup. Here matup is a matvartiya pratyaya, but here we have chakara. It is not takara or sakara. We have chakara. So tasau matvarte is not applicable, though it is matvartiya pratyaya, but the anga is not ending with takara or sakara, so it is not a bha. It is not a bhasangna. The ruch is not bha. By this the sutra Swadishu Asarvanamastane, it is considered as padam, because neither this pratyaya starts with yakara or ach letter. So both yachibam and tasau matvartya are not applicable. So this should become padam. Ruch is a padam. Once we consider it as padam, before that, this makara of the pratyaya matup will be replaced by vakara. There is sutra madhupadayascha matorvo yavadibhyaha jayaha. That sutra jayaha. By that sutra, whenever this matup is followed by any letter, any L letter from the pratyara jai, then this makara will be replaced by vakara. So now, if we consider this as padam, then this by there is a sutra chokuhu by which chavargiya vyanjana at the end of a pada they are converted into kavargiya vyanjana, and ruk plus vattu rukvattu. Watch plus mattu, ruch plus mattu, ruch plus vattu. Okay. By chokuhu. Okay. The thing here is, once we consider this as pada, ruk as a pada, there is a sutra, jalam jashonte, jalam jashonte. By that sutra, the jal letter which is present at the end of a pada should get jash adesha. This kakara should get gakara. So it should become rugvat instead of rukvat. But we see the form as rukvat only in the chandasi. If we consider this rukyas bha, then only jalam jashonte is not applicable. But we have considered this as pada in the previous sutra. For chakara to kakara, we need that pada sangna for ruchu. If ruch is not pada, this chavargiya, this chavarga to kavarga cannot be done. So it is done considering this ruchi as pada. But if we consider this as pada, then this ka should becomes ga. But that is not seen here. So the same anga is considered as pada once, and same anga is considered as bha again. So both sangna are applied as required required. So so that the form is accepted. So both bha and padasangna can be applied during the derivation of a same word. so that the valid form is derived. Similarly, vajina, in the derivation of vajina, it is derived from vacham inaha vajinaha. Vacham. So vach plus am, this am is a supratyaya that gets deleted by supodhatu pratipadikayoho. So vach plus ina vajina. Here you see this vach plus ina. If you consider this vach and ina, this actually this ina is not a pratyaya. This is a shabda. Ina means master, lord. So it is not a pratyaya. So here watch plus arm. So even though this arm is deleted by pratyaloke pratyaya lakshanam, this watch should become pada. So it is a pada. At this stage, by chokuko, this chavargiya letter should become kavargiya letter. So this chakara should become kakara. But that sutra chokuhu is not applied here. So we have retained cha as it is. So that means this watch is considered as bha instead of pada here. But the same watch is considered again as pada by which by applying the sutra jalam jashonte, the chakara is converted into jakara. Considering this as a pada, so we have vaj plus ina vajina. So in the derivation of the word vajina, once we have assumed that vaj as a pada, once we have assumed that as a bha. So this sutra by Ayasmayadim Chandasi, it tells in the derivation of the words both padasangna and bhasangna can be applied appropriately so that the forms which are there in the chandas are derived. Okay, this is about padam, bham, and anga. We shall take some anga karya. We took anga karya. We shall take some padasangna karya and some basangna karya in the next classes.